What's up, everyone? This is In Camp Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Hepler. Today on the show, I have a guest that you're going to love because I know I really enjoyed getting to know him on and off the air. We've kind of been in and out of each other's circle for a while, and I think you're really going to enjoy the things that we talk about. We're talking about some public land issues, what it was like for our guest to be mentored, what it was like to be a mentor, some real good hunting stories. I loved every minute of this. I'm probably going to listen to it myself because he said so many things that I just don't want to forget. I think you've heard of him. He's been on Wired Hunt a few times. He's been on Tony Peterson's old podcast, Hunt for Real, a few times. Man, I, I don't know what to say, but this podcast is with Mr. Jace Bauserman from Colorado. He's an outdoor writer and an avid hunter, fisherman, fitness nut. If you don't follow him on already on his social media accounts, you're going to want to check it out at Jace_Bauserman, and make sure you check out the links in the show notes and anything he has to say at the end of the podcast. I'm not even going to say anything more because you just need to start listening to the show. So enjoy it. This is In Camp Podcast. I used to love to listen to you on because Tony had you on Hunt for Real all the time.
Yeah. Tony and I actually, well, Tony started Hunt for Real,
Yeah.
and then, he got super big time and went to Meat Eater. No, I'm just kidding. But he's still, I mean, I don't know if you listen, but he still hosts his own podcast over there. And it's really just him talking. But I think that suits Tony really well because, I mean, from a whitetail standpoint, for me being a Western guy, I mean, Tony was ultimately responsible for really teaching me the ropes of whitetail hunting,
Yeah.
and was and still is one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
We've hunted together. Shoot, we've hunted public land together all over. So, yeah, that was a good podcast though. I hope someday that he'll bring it back,
I know.
because it was solid.
It was probably one of the most relatable podcasts that I've listened to.
Agreed.
But I mean, I
100%.
do I do really enjoy his foundation stuff,
Yeah,
especially when you need like refreshers in the fall and that kind of thing. But man,
absolutely.
I do miss that podcast.
Yeah, it was a good
Um,
one. It was a good one.
yeah. So on the other, I don't think we've ever talked in person, like message back and forth a little bit.
Right, yeah, man, and I'll tell you what, that's what makes kinda like for me, like, that's one of the things that makes social media super, super cool.
Yeah.
There's definitely some drawbacks to it, but honestly, man, it is what you make it. Like, there's drawbacks to everything. And one of the cool things about it is you get like-minded people,
Hmm.
to reach out, message somebody, and then pretty soon you strike up a conversation, and though we've never talked, I mean, it's like we're off and running, already because, we have exchanged messages, we have looked at each other's profiles. So that makes it pretty cool, man, really. I think it's a neat thing.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's super needed right now, right? We're going through this
For sure.
public land thing, and if we didn't have an army, if what would we have?
Well, we gotta have an army
Yeah.
because this deal is real. And, you know, regardless of what Mike Lee says, and regardless of what a lot of these people say, that it's being revised, well, there's this or that, and now it's over. I don't think that anything's over. I'm not trusting the fact that anything's over until I don't hear anything else about it and
Yeah.
we don't lose 1 acre of public land because, man, I mean, I wrote into my constituents here in
Yeah.
Colorado. I've
Hmm.
also made a lot of noise as much as I can with Mike and some of the other people that I feel are directly involved in this. And here's the thing, man. Last weekend, I went up 2 hours from my house. It was scorching hot here in the southeast part of Colorado, but we
Hmm.
can escape to the mountains in like less than 2 hours.
Right.
So I loaded up the family, took the camper up to this little town, and we were more like glamping than we were camping, man. I pulled the RV up there. We used an RV park. Okay, I don't want to make it more than it is. And we just hung out. But here's the thing: this little town was just booming. I mean, I saw license plates from New York, Pennsylvania, Alaska,
Wow.
Tennessee, tons of Colorado people, right? And everybody was just out recreating. I saw
Yeah.
guys on four-wheelers. I saw guys on side-by-sides. I was running. My kids were fishing. Um, I mean, the thing is like, what are people recreate, man. That's what people want to do.
Uh-huh.
And then not only that, but think about the people like this town's income. I was talking to the lady at the RV park. Their income solely exists on people coming in to access the public lands that RV park borders. So
Right.
it's like one of those things that it doesn't matter what how you utilize public lands. I mean, there's always kind of been some battles, I feel like, between, like, the hunters, the hikers, whatever. I mean, golly, but it's in this case, I really feel like it can be a super unified front, man,
Mhm.
and because we all wanna use public lands, and yeah, yeah, it's one of those things you can spin off in and go for, but, oh, man. Um, I'm really hopeful. I think, like, here in Colorado, we've seen some we got the mountain lion initiative, shot down, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We lost out on the wolf thing, but it was really close, and, I think there's just too many people that it's too important to them, that it's
Right.
more it's a way of life, and it just can't go forward.
Right. Well, I think things like that too. So we lost on the wolf thing, but there's probably a little less understanding of that, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
people that want to recreate know, hey, if I don't have the corpse engineer lake down the road anymore because now it's all built in home, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Totally.
They understand that better than, oh, let's put pretty wolves on the landscape again.
Oh,
You
man,
know?
they totally do, for
Yeah.
sure.
So and I do think that sometimes it gets misconstrued. I think it's great. And like I said, we're building an army with social media, which is a really good use of social media.
It
It's,
is, it's
you
great,
know,
it's
it's,
fantastic.
I even think it's in some way, shape, or form, social media isn't fantastic for kids, but in this kind of setting, I think it is. Like they can learn some lessons and like, hey, this is something we have to fight for. You know?
Right, and it's educational too. I mean,
Yeah.
I see where, I've learned a lot, just by reading, people's posts that are more knowledgeable than I am when it comes
Yeah.
to politics and when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, it's definitely a learning tool. And, I know my oldest son, my youngest son, he gets it, but he doesn't really get it, but my oldest son's 19,
Uh-huh.
he's obsessed with hunting,
Yeah.
and he's grown up hunting public land with me, so he knows how important it is to him. He already sees the writing on the wall of like, oh my gosh, the expenses of bows, rifles, what I mean, you name it, is going up. Tag prices are
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah.
Um, the cost if you want to go on an outfitted hunt are getting just unattainable.
Yeah.
So for him, he sees the writing on the wall and he's fine with it. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna hunt public land, so I can hunt that forever and no one can take that from me."
Right.
And now someone's trying to take that from him and it pisses him off,
Yeah.
which it pisses us all off, which is something
Right.
that, our voices have to be heard on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the cool thing is, Onyx did that, the filter that you could put on, like, call your senator or whatever,
Yeah, they did. That was
and
pretty handy.
yeah, it's cool because it's cool that people are posting, like, their pack out pictures or the things they shot, but it's cool because people that don't hunt can also use that filter. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
"Oh, oh, hey,"
Absolutely.
I've been trying to do ones that's, like, camping with my family on public or at a state park or whatever, because you're getting more of those people to understand where you're coming from.
For sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, and there's a lot of good information out there, and
Oh,
you
man.
can't turn on social media without just being inundated with, "Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is," which is great. I mean, that's good. That's what we gotta have, so
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we've already we're already in like 10 minutes and
I know.
I haven't even
It goes
said your name
fast,
yet.
dude.
It goes fast, man. So everybody listening in, this is a friend of mine. We haven't talked in person, but I think we've kind of been in and out of each other's hunting lives a little bit. But on the other end of the line, I have Mr. Jace Bauserman. I'm saying that right, right?
It's actually Bauserman. It's
Bauserman.
crazy, but
Bauserman.
everybody says Bauserman. I mean, my nickname is Bows. So
Bows. Okay.
it doesn't everybody says it, so yeah, but it doesn't, dude. Bauserman, doesn't
Did
matter.
you did you always get, like, stuck playing with the turtle on Mario games?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
100%, 100%.
Good. So what's your background, dude?
So, oddly enough, man, my background is kinda crazy in that, my dad, not a hunter, not a fisherman. My grandparents, not hunters, not fishermen.
No way.
And that's not one of those deals like where I say this all the time, or where I had this like, "Oh my gosh, I just had this awful childhood and it was rough and my parents were divorced, my dad was a drunk." Nah, it was none of that. It was quite the opposite. Great family all the way around, just athletically minded family. Like my dad was a high school coach for he was a teacher, but a high school coach of many sports for like 26 years.
Wow.
Um, and so that was the plan for me, right? Like that's what dad and I worked for when I was growing up. I was gonna play baseball in the bigs, that was the plan. And then about the time I was in like 4th grade, before my parents were both school teachers, so before they would let me, like, stay home alone, I had, like up until, like, 5th grade, it's, like, so shameful to admit, but I had, like, a babysitter, and, her son was in high school, he was a junior or a senior, I can't remember what Paul was, but, like, I'd be there for a couple hours after school because mom would have, post-school responsibilities, dad had practices.
Mhm.
And Paul would come home and he'd have ducks and he'd have a pheasant and he'd have a goose and he'd have all this stuff, man. And I was just like, I would wait for the rumble of his old Chevy truck to come in, like no lie. And I became fascinated with it. Well, outside of that, outside of the athletic part of my life, my dad was a motocross guy. He
Okay.
raced flat track, he raced motocross, so we all had dirt bikes. And so I went to my dad and I was like, I want to take hunter safety and I want to hunt. And he's like, what for? I was like, I don't know. It just looks cool. He's like, well, good luck. I mean, I think that having a good knowledge of hunter safety is good. It's gonna teach you some gun safety. So, yeah, let's sign you up. So he signed me up, dropped me off, signed me up, drop me off, whatever. And so I get my hunter safety and I have nothing. Now I have this hunter safety card and no knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Um, but my dad did buy me a license and he did have an old school. I couldn't even tell you what brand it was. This was like an old Stevens or something. Pump shotgun. And he said, like, here you go. You know, good luck, I
Yeah.
guess. And he trusted me enough on my bike because we rode so much. And
Okay.
he trusted me enough on my bike. He's like, I don't know, use your dirt bike. So, dude, I did. I mean, that's how I rolled. I mean, I rigged up this deal on my handlebars. I didn't have a sling. It didn't even have sling stud attachments. And I got to the point where I was stashing gas in farmers' culverts. I was
Nice.
running wild, dude. I would have been a game warden's worst not like, they would have saw me, and I didn't know. Like, I took hunter safety, but, like, I took it enough to pass it, right? Like, it was a
Yeah.
C's get degree type of hunter safety for me.
Right.
And then one day I met a man, and his name's Bill Siemens. He's gonna turn 72 years old tomorrow.
Wow.
He's best man at my wedding. Um, Introduced me to Christ, and along that way, like, he took me to do everything. He taught me how to hunt geese the right way, he taught me how to hunt ducks the right way. He was taking me big game hunting. I had no money. I couldn't even afford a tag. So he was just paying for all this stuff out of the goodness of his heart, and he was
Wow.
like the definition of a true mentor. So without him, I wouldn't have progressed on my journey to start writing for hunting and fishing magazines, become an editor of multiple magazines, and then get super immersed into this awesome industry. So I owe so much to him, but I also owe a lot to my dad and a lot of other people who have helped me along the way. Because my dad could have said, "No, you're not taking hunter safety. No, you're not using that motorcycle. That's unsafe," which it is, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So overall, man, that's kind of a long background, but I think it's important that people understand that I wasn't I wasn't brought into a hunting family. I just carved my own way, and that is something that I'm proud of.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a really unique story. I mean, it's I grew up hunting and fishing, so whenever somebody wants to learn how, they're like, "Hey, I wanna get into hunting." I'm like, "Okay, take your hunter safety course because that's bare minimum, like,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
right.
don't do
Start.
that." Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "If you don't do that, I don't know you're not gonna shoot me," you know?
You'll
But I
never
think
go.
yeah, that whole, the whole story that you're talking about with a man like that really took you under his wing,
The
taught you
best,
who
man.
taught you who Jesus was first and
Yeah.
foremost,
That's
and
number
then
1 for me, like, that
y
was it.
yeah,
And he did it in such a, he did it in such a he just did it in such a way that he made me ask him. Like,
yeah,
he didn't preach to me, he never preached to me. I was a train wreck.
yeah,
I was just, I was towards the latter end of high school. I had definitely discovered alcohol. I had for
yeah,
sure discovered girls.
yeah.
And I was on this motorcycle and I was just like, I was a tear. And I remember when he pulled up to me that day, I mean, the first thing he said to me is he's like, "Do you ever go home?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," and I was trying to kind of I knew who he was.
Yeah,
Like I knew who he was. He was like a local legend in our town, right?
okay,
Small town. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna go jump those geese out of that field," because I didn't know how else to hunt them. There was a ditch, it was dry, I could crawl down it, and I could shoot them. And he's like,
sure.
"No, you're not. You're absolutely not." And, like, the inner part of me was gonna be like, "Yeah, I am. Watch, I have permission." But I
Yeah,
was like, "Yeah, okay, okay, I won't." And he's like, "You know where I live?" I said, "Yes, sir. I know where you live. You know who I am." "Yes, sir. I know who you are. Why don't you come to my house at 4:30 tomorrow morning? I'll start showing you how to do this the right way." And then we just were like we were like kindred spirits from the start. And every time we'd go somewhere, is I worked for him all through high school and college. He's the reason I came
uh-huh,
out of college without debt. Um, we would do these things, and he'd be going like, "Yeah, that was the bar I used to hang out at all the time." He's like, until I got saved, and
yeah,
he'd leave it right there. And then he'd be talking about something and until I got saved, and one day I couldn't take it anymore. I wasn't, willful enough, I guess, to find out on my own, 'cause
yeah.
I just wasn't, so I just asked him, I was like, "Bill, what is being saved? Just what is it, dude? You keep saying it." And we were really close at this time. This is like a year in,
Yeah,
and so he explained it to me, right? So then I go to a church service, and I'm sitting in that service, and it's one of those services where the pastor is talking directly to me, but he's not. It's just what
yeah,
God laid on his heart that day, but
sure.
I was sitting there and I was like, anywhere else but here, bro, like, anywhere else but here. This sucks.
Yeah,
But I came back and I came back again, and then eventually, I came to saving faith in Christ, and then and so Bill, the cool thing is all my kids, Brody, my daughter Abby, my son Hunter, my oldest boy, they've all hunted with Bill. They're all
uh-huh.
super close to Bill. Like, he lives 2 miles down the road. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
we fish together constantly, like, he literally shaped, molded, and changed my life in the most positive way I can describe.
Yeah, that's so cool. And what a better way to do it than, like than really catering to a kid's interests. Like, he saw your interest
Right.
in geese and whatever, and saw you doing it the wrong way, and he coulda just been like, "Well, calling the game warden on you,"
He
or
cou
y
he
you know what
coulda,
I mean?
easily, and I was straight up dead wrong. I got a shotgun strapped to the it was probably
Yeah.
loaded. I mean, good gracious.
Well, and, it's funny because when somebody's coming into our public space or whatever, and we see that, you know, some people really don't know. I mean, some people you're not going there to mentor. You can just be like, "Hey, that's not legal here," or whatever. You can have a conversation with
Yeah,
them.
you can have a respectful conversation.
But imagine if if all the kids you saw causing some trouble, but they were doing something you love to do, if you took the time to just show them the right way to do it,
I know.
and instead of getting them in trouble, it'd be a
And
huge difference.
just had an not necessarily confrontational, just an upfront conversation with them about like, "Hey, man, dude, this is what you're doing. I don't want you to get in trouble. Let me
Yeah.
show you how to do this right, or at least, at the very least, let me explain to you what you're doing wrong here."
Yeah. And, I feel like people think that kids, especially teenagers, won't be receptive to that, but they're already looking for somebody to show them the right way to do it,
They are, man. I coach
right?
high school basketball. I mean,
Oh,
for
cool.
the last 4 years, I've given up the latter half of my November, into March because that athletic side that my father instilled into me is still there, and I love kids, and I love to
Yeah.
coach, and I don't care what people say. People can say, "Well, kids have sure changed, and they're da 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 this, and they're that, and they're this, and they're that." But kids are a product of their environment, And if you can be that positive influence and you can be that person that's part of that becomes part of their makeup and becomes part of who they are, like, I don't care. I mean, I'm sure everybody says this, every coach probably says this, but I wouldn't trade the kids that I've coached for anything. I mean, I just had lunch with 2 of them last week that graduated that are going on to do their own. One's going to, San Antonio to work with his brother, become an insurance adjuster. The other one's staying here locally, and he's going to work as, electrician apprentice. But, like, so
That's
many of
cool.
them I stay in touch with, I spend time with, but they kids need direction,
Yeah,
and they will listen. And it's just a matter of I feel like it's a respect issue. Um, you should respect them, and in turn, they have to respect you. If they don't earn your respect, and that's something I talk about a lot. I mean, if you don't earn my respect as a player, if you don't earn my respect by the actions, by your character, by the things, the way you carry yourself, I'm still going to treat you fairly, but you're not gonna have my
sure,
respect.
sure.
And I think that's something that, but yeah,
I guess that's kinda like a build up your treasures in heaven kinda talk, you know?
100%.
That's cool, man. I think the cool thing about hunting and fishing too is it's a place that you're automatically learning respect lessons, whether it's respect for the law, respect for the animals that you're hunting, respect for limits. It's all built in, and to have somebody to look up to learn that, it's really going to translate into everything in life. You know?
Totally is. And it's both. I mean, in hunting, I don't care, bow, rifle, whatever, it's very discipline oriented too. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it teaches you self-discipline and dedication to your craft because, going from just going to be this great baseball athlete to totally shifting gears. I just took that same mindset into my hunting and fishing. I mean, I just took that into my outdoor lifestyle as like, okay, um, I'm going to be very disciplined at everything I do, from how I approach every hunt to how I everything, um, and go at it through that scope, kind of through that mindset. And that's why that's something that I feel like has led to um most of my successes, whether they're successes in the field or whether they're successes, within my job in this industry. I think it's everything is about your approach, as
Yeah.
a father, as a husband, as a Christian man, whatever. It's just your approach and how you go after things. And as long as you don't go after them half-heartedly, as long as you're pouring out your best, I mean, you really can't miss the mark.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as if you were to put like a label on your, do you work for a a publication right now specifically? Or are you kind of freelancing all over the place still?
Yeah, no, so I was the when I was the editor, uh, um, I was the editor of a magazine called Bowhunt America.
Yeah,
That was a
I've read that
very
one.
it's been out of publication, and they also had a trade journal, which was Inside Archery, and that
Okay.
was owned by Bill and Sherry Krenz. Bill Krenz, one of the like, he's right up there with, like, the Chuck Adams, the Dwight Schrute, I mean, Bill died of a sudden heart attack, and I was freelancing for the publication at the time. And
Okay.
his wife, Sherry, reached out to me and said, Bill was always really liked your work. He was always a fan of yours. We're kind of in a jam. Would you be the editor of this magazine? I was still teaching fifth grade at the time. I had no business being the editor of a national magazine at this point, but I wasn't going to tell Sherry no. Um,
Yeah.
and I was going to take the chance. Like, this was my opportunity to kinda live that part of my life that I had been dreaming of. So I left teaching, wasn't coaching, stayed with that magazine for 2.5 years, and then I was offered a better position, both financially and I guess, it was as a more renowned magazine. It was Bow Hunting World, and Bow Hunting World
Uh-huh.
also had a trade journal called Archery Business. And so I was the editor in chief of both of those magazines, and I did that for I think I wanna say it was, like, right at 5 years, maybe
Okay.
6. Um, but dude, the whole time I was doing that, I loved it, right? Like, it opened doors for me that I could tell stories upon stories about, but what I discovered is I didn't like editing. I really didn't. It takes a special person to be a really good editor.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good I still don't think I'm a good editor because the main reason is I don't wanna take your work or anybody else's work, get it, go through it with a fine tooth comb, make
Mhm.
all the changes to it. For me, it's just not exciting. Some guys, my buddy Dave Hurteau at Field and Stream, my buddy Skip Knowles, who's the editor of Wildfowl, like, these dudes geek out on editing other people's writing. Trust me, like, that's what they love. They really and they're so freaking good at it.
Sure.
I wanted to just create content. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't
Yeah.
wanna edit, I just wanted to create content, and I'd made enough contacts within the industry, some great editors that were really willing to work with me and help me out and kind of encouraged me, I guess, to go out on my own. Left bow hunting world, left that Grandview side of things in good terms,
Yeah.
um, and so now I am a full-time freelance outdoor writer. I mean, that's
That's so
and
cool.
content creator, and that's what I always wanted to do. I have no other jobs outside of coaching, so I make my entire living, um, through writing. I mean, that's really how I make my living.
That's so cool, man.
It's
I
awesome.
actually I actually I always like when I was a kid, reading Bowhunter and bow
Yeah,
hunting.
Bonner was it, man. Dwight Schrute was a great friend.
So I dude, I read all those things and we have a Pennsylvania has a little local one, PA Game News, and I read all those when I was a kid too. And I'm like, man, one day I want to do that. And then I kind of didn't, I'm a registered nurse in intensive care.
That's awesome. My wife's an RN and OB.
Yeah, it's a great job. It
Sure.
affords a lot of time for hunting.
Yeah.
But I kind of like lost oh, I want to write. And then when I, um, I read a lot of your stuff, a lot of Tony's stuff, and I was like, man, I really would love to do that. And then got to know Tony through, I was on his Hunt for Real a couple times too.
Yeah, I actually listened to one of them. It was excellent.
Yeah. So, but really like through his mentorship and stuff, kind of like learned a little bit about this and that. I'm like, oh, well, and I always try to keep questions brief because I know I can do my own research and some stuff. But man,
Sure.
I I remember asking him about how to query editors and what the best way was, and then I remember reading. You wrote some articles about how to become an outdoor writer for Grandview.
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Those were, like, really well received,
yeah, they're hard to
but
find now.
Grandview hated them.
You gotta dig deep for those things, man. You gotta like
Yeah.
do a long Google search to find those right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's something wrote by me, it's gonna be way down on the bottom of everybody's list, man.
Yeah. So it was cool because I think you and Tony were some of the influencers for the writing that I've done, and I've kind of taken a little hiatus, but I have some things that are gonna be coming out with East Meets West Hunt, hopefully, and still doing some stuff for the Meat Eater here and there.
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, so it's a lot of fun, man, but it's a really good way to stay connected and um, it's I don't when I'm doing the writing stuff, like I don't feel the need to uh like exemplify myself or anything like that, but I do want to share like, man, there's so much fun stuff to be had.
There is.
And it's not naming bucks either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly at the end of the day, um, that's how I feel about it. Like, and there's a common misconception too, like, people ask me all the time, "Well, how many hunts do you have to go on in a year to make your living as an outdoor writer?" It's like, dude, 20% of what I write is about the hunts and stuff that I do.
Yeah.
The other 80% is how to, so much gear testing. Like right now, I'm right in the middle, and I'm super pumped about this. I'm right in the middle of finishing up Field and Stream's 2025 bow review, as well as an in-depth arrow review. That's gonna be it's been a very large, very time-consuming project. But I'm really excited about it. So like
Yeah.
there's certain things that that people need to understand that if you're looking at outdoor writing as a career,
Mhm.
and as a craft, I think there's room. I mean, like, for sure, but people really mistake, and Tony and I used to joke about this all the time. It is such a it is a grind. Like, it is a ridiculous, ridiculous grind, and people don't
Yeah.
understand. They just see you getting to go hunt, you know, Africa and Spain and New Zealand, and then you're going to this state and you're going to that state. Those are perks that come out of a long career. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 20, right at 20 years now.
Yeah.
Um, so but to maintain and to keep going in it, deadlines have to be met. Your writing has to continue to improve. Your photography has to continue to improve. You have to be relatable, and you have to have thick skin. I mean,
Yeah.
to this day, I mean, I will have editors beat me up over things that I know that are part of my writing makeup, but that editor just doesn't want that part of it. And you have to be thick skinned enough and also realize, like, I'm working for that guy.
Right.
I need to shut up and listen to what he wants. He's buying my product.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so, and I think that's where a lot of editors have told me, some of the people that they're giving, like, a chance to, they'll give them some pointers and the person will almost get upset. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember the first article I ever wrote for Bowhunter magazine. Dwight Schrute mailed it. He didn't email it. He mailed it back to me, and it looked like a high school English paper that was an F minus, and it was covered in red, just covered. Like, I didn't there was so much red, I didn't know where to begin.
Yeah.
But if it hadn't have been for Dwight, and if it hadn't have been for guys like Mike Strandland, Dave Hurteau, I mean, there's just I mean, I can name a bunch of them. I wouldn't have ever developed. It's just like being coached, right? I looked at those guys like they could have just told me no. They could have
Right.
just said, "No, kid, you go away. Shoot, that's terrible." Instead, they gave me what I needed to do to be successful, and it was then my choice whether to, that guy doesn't know anything. What does he know? He's only the editor of and one of the best. Or, oh my gosh, he's willing to help me. I mean,
Yeah.
as bad as this as hard as this hurts, if I take this advice and I try again and I get close to the mark, he's gonna give me another shot, and that's all it is just continuing to improve at your craft.
Yeah. And there's ways you can do that before you even query somebody.
Oh,
Take
for sure.
small writing courses or, you know, I think one of the suggestions you used in one of your articles was using that writer's guide, like
Yeah, man, that
the
was
books that
awesome.
come out every year. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're really helpful. Like just to learn. I mean, it's pretty basic, but you learn a lot from those things about how to write a query and how to structure articles and then who to query. It has contacts in there too.
sure, and when to follow up and when to kinda leave it alone and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, so, yeah, it's, there's a lot of and even with social media too, and the internet now, like the searches that you can conduct. I mean, you can go read someone's query, honestly. You can
Yeah.
read examples. I 2 weeks ago, a guy hit me up on Instagram, and I sent him one of my queries from, like, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, I don't have to query as much as I did,
Sure.
10 years ago, but still, it it's not like, I don't have to reach out and stuff like that. The work's not just always coming my way. I still have to grind it out and go get it.
Yeah.
So it's important to make sure that you understand, how that system works and to send out good enough content with a good enough headline that grabs an editor's eye and is like, "I've never heard of this dude. I don't know why he's emailing me, but I'll look at this." And then all of a sudden, it's like that could be your one in, that could be your one chance.
Yeah. I think the other thing too that I think is cool about you is that the freelance thing helps you to be diverse. Like
Sure.
people don't just find Jace in one space, like
Yeah.
it's and that's cool to me.
I It's cool to me too. I did catch a lot of shade and still do, and it's fine, comes with the territory. I tell my kids all the time, they get really angry. They're like, "Dad, this guy's saying," and I'm like, "It's cool. It's fine."
Who
Um,
cares?
when I was 'cause I just bow hunted, man. That was
Uh-huh.
it. I mean, I just bow hunted. I was the editor of Bow Hunting World. I was the editor of Bow Hunt America. So it was bow hunting. And when I left those 2 and started freelancing, it was still bow hunting. But my roots were not bow hunting. My
Right.
roots were Bill was a rifle hunter and still is.
Sure.
Bill was a goose and duck hunter, so it means we hunted with shotguns. So
Right.
that's how I cut my teeth. And so a really great friend of mine and another person that has helped me as much as and been better to me than I probably deserve is Rafe Nielsen. Rafe's with Browning, and Rafe years ago Browning was making a speed line of camo.
Yeah.
And it was speed and they had I can't even remember what all they had. But Rafe sent me some when I was the editor of Bow Hunting World. And man, I had a year and I killed everything in that. I wore it. I was like, and there was some about Rafe that I always appealed to me. So I was like, I'm gonna wear this guy's camo. I'm gonna show him. Well, I showed up at this is when Browning was still attending ATA. And I
Okay.
went over to Rafe and we started talking and he's like, I don't even wanna hear about all the animals you killed in even in our camo because 'cause you're shooting a bow and da 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 da. Well, he's joking, of course, but Rafe convinced me to, like, open my eyes and be like, "Hey, wait a minute. Like, why are I mean, you're a freelancer. You can create more content if you spread yourself out and take and start hunting with a rifle."
Yeah.
So, I kind of reinvented myself and went back to my roots and started hunting with a rifle. And I've always done a ton of shotgun hunting. That never left. I
Right.
love hunting ducks and geese.
Yeah.
I mean, I write a column for wildfowl and started hunting with a rifle, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is so much fun." And after bow hunting for all those years, I was like, "Well, I see it, it's dead." So, I mean, it was just this, it was just a great transition, and now I would say I'm like a 50-50 split, honestly, man. I mean, I'm about a 50% bow, 50% rifle, and I love them both. Like, Zach Bohey is a good friend of mine. Zach's, an outdoor writer, we've hunted
Yeah.
together a few times, and Zach told me years ago, and this is even before, I started gun hunting again, and I was kinda giving Zach the business. I was like, "Bro, what are you out there with a rifle for? You know, you're a bow guy, you're like us." And he's like, "I love hunting way too much to limit myself to one weapon."
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. Like,
Yeah.
Zach's words, like, I hung on those. I didn't act on them right away, but then when Rafe kind of brought me full circle and fueled that fire, guys like him, Sean Skipper from Loophole, there's been so many people that just again, I mean, like, I didn't know a lot about rifles, a lot about optics other than my binos at that time for bow hunting, but
Mhm.
they decided, like, "Well, we're gonna help you." They didn't just say, "Well, you don't do this." They wanted me to do it, they introduced me to it, so in a way, I was mentored even at an older age, and I was mentored again. So I
Yeah.
think the thing that I have been most fortunate is I've had great people in my life.
Yeah.
I am not this self-made, "Look at me, I did it with a bow, I did it with a gun, I cracked into the industry." No, I feel like God had a direction for my life, and he opened a door, and I went through that door, and then he just strategically placed all of these pieces that connected me to these great humans and
Yeah.
people that I truly love, like, that I would lay down in traffic for. Um,
Yeah.
and that's where it stands, and I'll do this until they run me out.
You ever think, like, maybe if that person would have met you at a different time in life, it wouldn't have been the right time?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, because if I would have met if I would have met Rafe or Skipper, if I would have met them. Because I did, dude, don't get me wrong, and I've told I went through my chest banging days.
Uh-huh.
Man, when I became the editor when I left Bow Hunt America and became the editor of Bow Hunting World, which was right there at the time with Bowhunter in terms of subscription, kind of
Yeah.
prestige, if you will, and I was the guy, man, I was the editor in chief, and if somebody told me I was the editor, I was quick to remind them, "No, I'm the editor in chief of both titles," and I really, for a little while, I developed this "Look at me. Look at me" mentality. Look, man, I did this. I did
Yeah.
this. I did this. I did this. And then, like it tends to happen one day, Like, and it was nothing specific. It was just a bunch of little things over time where God was telling me, "No, you didn't do anything.
Right.
I did all this. You just you just followed my lead, and now you're trying to go, thank you for doing all this, but it's me, and I want everyone to know it's me." And
Right.
today I want everyone to know it's not me.
Right.
It wasn't me. It was all of these people. But if I had a met Rafe and Sean at that time, I probably would have made a terrible impression. I probably would have
Sure.
been a real jerk. I probably would have been like, "Ugh, gross, and never hunt with a rifle or your scope. It's the easiest thing in the world, and all you do is go out there and you see the animal and it dies and da 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 da." So, yeah, I do wonder that a lot.
Yeah.
I think about those things a lot, and I think about the growth and maturity it takes to experience some successes and experience some great things happening to you in your life, and then being able to turn back and go, "How little of that was me. How
Yeah.
such a small, stupid portion was me."
It's such a cool, I mean, it's good to reflect on that stuff for sure
I
because
think so. I think you have to be in constant reflection for growth.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the diversity thing is so important in hunting because there's nothing wrong with a learning phase. I bow hunted. I did I grew up doing everything. Like hunted for squirrels with 22s, and I rifle hunted during rifle season, and I bow
Sure.
hunted during bow season. And I spent like 18 years hunting with a bow before I killed a buck. I don't know how many I
That's
missed.
awesome, by the way.
Thanks.
I love
I
that.
don't I don't know how many I missed or how many I wounded.
Doesn't
It was
matter.
it doesn't matter anymore,
Doesn't
but
matter.
it was more
It's
than
your story.
yeah, but I went through the learning phase of like I didn't hunt a lot of public. We hunted public for small game, and I
Sure.
spent maybe 3 hunts from the time I was 12 until I was 19 or 20, um, hunting all deer on private land pretty much, other than
Okay.
maybe 3 hunts. And, the phase where, oh, bedded bucks, you can kill a big buck on public because everything was like, "Oh, deer are a ghost. You don't see deer on public, especially a buck. You'll see
Right.
some does, no bucks."
Right, right.
And in Pennsylvania, especially, because when I started hunting, we didn't have antler restrictions. So a spike buck was like, you better shoot it, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I started kind of dabbling, listening to the Dan Infalt thing and John Eberhart. And this is kind of like the time where I started reading a lot of stuff that Tony wrote because there was a lot of diversity. Like, hey,
Yeah, and
you can
Tony's a
still have,
public line whitetail ninja. I don't
yeah, and hey, you
he's
can
a gift
really,
man.
yeah, you can stay diverse. You don't have to have this like all or nothing, like hunt a bed strategy or hunt whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do this. And it's not that I didn't listen to those other guys. I took pieces and parts from everything and kind of did what was going to work in the woods I was hunting in. And I finally killed a buck with a bow after 18 years. And it was my first year on public. It was my first buck with a bow. And then I was like, I can't do anything else. I have, so I went through
It's
this.
funny how that happens, though.
Yeah, you go through this learning and growth phase. So
You do.
all my friends were like, "We gotta bow hunt big bucks on public, and that's it," like. And I killed that buck in 2018,
Okay.
and the, like you kind of get stuck then, because then summertime. Okay, I only bass fish in the summer, and I only bow hunt deer in the fall. And then you
Mhm.
get this, like it's, like, monotonous, and then people that want you to try other no, I'm super focused on
This is
shooting
who
a
I
deer with
am,
a
man.
yeah, yeah, it's like a strict identity. But then at some point, I have a friend that just he's got ADHD, but it's like the good kind, so if he wants to do something, it's like
Yep.
tunnel vision, and
Right.
he gets really good at it really fast,
Yeah.
and then he stays good at it. So Rich and I got to know each other, and man, he like, hey, you want to go fish some stripers in the ocean? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Dude, we went out and we caught 50 stripers the one day in New Jersey.
Right.
And I was like, I gotta do this again, you
This is
know?
what I do now.
So it's like, but then I remembered like, hey, hunting with a gun's not all that bad, and it's gonna give me the diversity that I want. You know, I can go rifle hunting again and enjoy a traditional
Sure.
PA deer camp, and I got a new bird dog, and I'm gonna go hunt pheasants again in some upland, and it gives you something to do every day that kind of breaks up. Like, do I wanna kill big bucks? Is it my favorite? Yes. I love shooting a big buck with a bow, or just chasing a big buck with a bow.
Right.
It is super exciting,
It is.
but it's also, if I'm gonna go rifle hunting for a buck with some buddies, it's a different kind of exciting, and
Sure.
people forget that. It's one thing that I really love about all the content that you put out, because like you said, at some point it was, "I only bow hunt."
Yeah.
But I love seeing, man, like, you're taking these, Western hunts where you're taking long cracks at something, like, that's not easy.
No, and that's what I learned very quickly because
Yeah,
I
it's
was that guy.
yeah,
I was the guy that was like, "Rifle hunting's so easy. It's that animal's 620 yards. Oh, I put my scope on and go boom, and it falls over."
yeah,
And I had some let's just say that I've had some humbling experiences that showed me that that is, far from accurate.
yeah, I mean, sure, like, if you're gonna go hunt a deer and your average shot is 100 yards, it might not be as hard as hunting with a bow.
It's not. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's not as hard as hunting with a bow in that instance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
But there's a lot more to it than that too, and it comes with, hey, when I put my hands in the freezer in the summer to pick something out for grilling, how many options do I want in there, you know?
Dude, for real.
I love go like, right now, I don't I'm almost out of deer already. Everybody loves to eat deer.
Horrible feeling.
Oh, it's terrible, man.
It's terrible.
I hate it. But right now, I'm gonna go reach in the freezer, and there's, crappies for a fish fry, and we bow fished for stingrays a couple weeks ago, so there's stingray in there. I love that part of diversity, not just with a bow.
It is, man, and I'll tell you what, the 2 I've had lots of I've had lots of bow kills in my life. I have. I have lots. I've had lots of rifle kills now. There's 2 that when I look back on them, like, were equal. This is where I saw a serious equalness between bow hunting and rifle hunting, and the first one was a 61.5 yard shot on my once in a lifetime Colorado bighorn.
Okay.
Massive ram, 173-inch ram.
Yeah.
I knew I was never gonna get the tag again. I knew 2 miles across this canyon were 4 of my best buddies with I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in glass we had on that hill, but it was stupid. Knowing that they're watching this all go down, they're watching me come to full draw,
Yeah.
and in that moment, like, people say, "Well, I was ice cold." I was scared to death. I was super nervous, but everything that I put into it allowed me to step up and make what ended up being a perfect shot.
Yeah.
Um, and then this March, I had the chance to go to Spain, and I love sheep, like, don't ever hunt sheep or goats. Just don't ever hunt them because it gets in your blood and it's way too expensive,
Yeah.
and I'm, like, trying to figure out which body parts I can sell so I can go do it again somewhere.
The
Not even
ones that you
jo
got 2 of. Yeah.
it's,
Got
"I
2
got 2 of
kidneys.
this, can I part with 1? And how much will you pay?" Um, but luckily, I got to go to Spain with those 2 guys I talked about. I got to go with Rafe and I got to go with Skip, and where I ended up shooting my southeastern ibex was a pretty hellish location, and the window of opportunity was small. They're a real small creature with really cool horns,
Yeah.
and they live in really difficult landscapes, and he was on a knife ridge with blue sky behind me, so it looked super intimidating. He was 360 some yards away, and right behind me was Rafe. Like, right behind me. Now, I wouldn't have traded having him there for anything in the world, but I'm also going, I'm shooting a new rifle from Browning. I'm shooting a new scope from Loophole. I got I can't screw like, this is it. This could be the only opportunity I get. I cannot. I absolutely cannot screw this up. I can't let my buddy down. Um, so those 2, like, nerves are nerves, and being able to harness and control those nerves. And for me, like, I actually now oddly look really much forward to that after, I guess, like, looking back and being able, like, man, that was super, super, super
Yeah.
sweet. But, like, if Rafe would have known, like, at that moment in time, I was like, "I'm so glad you're here, but I wish it was somebody. I wish it was somebody else that I mean, I didn't want, it was just, I wanted to succeed so bad with him watching because he's been such an important person in my life, so it
Yeah.
meant a lot, and if I would've missed, he would've been like, "Oh, it's alright, buddy, we're right back into the next one, don't even get your head up," type of deal, but for me, I wanted it to go perfect,
Right.
and so, no matter what weapon you're using, there's always that element of, like, it's crunch time, and now I have to make it happen,
Yeah.
and if I don't, what's that gonna look like?
Yeah.
If I've been in the backcountry for 8 days by myself, what's that gonna do to me mentally?
Yeah.
If I've been away from my family with 3 of my buddies for 14 days and we're all trying to tag out on bull elk, and I
Mhm.
was the last one and I just airballed one at 30, what's that phone call home gonna look like? Like,
Yeah.
those are the types of things that I think have helped me be more successful in those moments when it's kind of it's crunch time, it's all or nothing.
Yeah. I remember following you along for that first story with your bighorn.
Dude,
That was 2 years ago?
21.
Oh,
Um,
was it already that long?
yeah, man, and I cried like a oh, man, it was that was special. That was the best my all-time number 1. Like, it's easy for me when someone says, "What was your favorite hunt of your life?" Well, that was it. I mean, I
Yeah.
have a lot of them that are right there. I have a lot of them that are but that one was it because it was my number 1 animal for my entire life that I just like you said, I wanted to go live with them. I wanted to be on the mountain with them, and at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I wanted to come home and say I hunted sheep.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say, and I went into that hunt telling myself, like, "I don't have to come home. This doesn't define me. It's not gonna change my relationship with my wife, my kids, my personality, whether I believe in God or whether it doesn't ch it that
Yeah.
animal's never gonna define who I am. It's gonna
Sure.
be cool to get one, but it's gonna be cool to come home and be like, 'Yeah, I bow hunted Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. I
Yeah.
carried my bow in the
Exactly.
mountains where they live, and I was right there. And
And
maybe I win and maybe I lose, and on that day, I won.'"
yeah, and you wouldn't have had the same well, you could have, but you might not have had the same experience if you didn't believe in that, like, diversity, using a gun versus a bow or macho versus, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's so cool because it brings you back to everything. Um, like I said, one of the things that I did was, like, I only fish bass. If I catch a pike, it's fine. But this year, I love catching panfish, man. You know what I mean? It's fun,
Tropic and
and I
bluegill are
yeah,
awesome.
and I live on a lake where the pan fishing opportunities are very good, and
Okay.
they're all like the largest of the like, if a bluegill's big size is a pound or pound and a half, like, I'll catch a lot of them, you know? So it's kind of fun, but without remembering back to why I started doing this and having that, like, I only do this mentality, I wouldn't be doing stuff that's fun, you know? But when
Agreed.
you do so much stuff, so when you're planning to how much does I need to write about this kind of thing go into your decision, or you just like, I'll start with these kind of things and then write around that? Is that kind of your approach?
So I become super opportunistic, I guess I would say. I just consider what I'm gonna get to do, and then I figure I'll just build around that. And that's really what influences influences my decision, and, I want to one thing that I've really tried to do, and I know I have, I mean, and again, there's areas where you'll catch some different shade and things like that, is I've kept a super healthy balance of public land, DIY hunts,
Mhm.
and because of what I do in this industry, and it's definitely not something I'm gonna apologize for, I get to take advantage of some really cool hunts that somebody else is taking me on because they see some value in what I can provide for them.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that because otherwise, I wouldn't have had the money to go to Africa or Spain or New Zealand or to hunt 23 or whatever, it doesn't even matter how many states. And the animals, I wouldn't I the tags alone, I just couldn't do it. So, um, I never wanna lose my identity as a public land DIY, go out there and get after it type of guy. And I
Yeah.
mean, last year alone, um, I harvested 2 bulls of my own on public. My son Hunter got his first bull, which I called in for him on public, and my wife, this was so cool. Um, Public land, do it yourself, 6.2 miles from the truck in the pouring rain, called her in a bull, and she smashed him with with a muzzle loader at 138 yards
Oh,
open
cool.
sights. So, like, the amount of public land stuff that I do and the amount of times that I go out in a year and come home with nothing more than a good bow hike or a good gun hike is insane,
Yeah.
and I love it that way. I really wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. It's important, I think, to keep that diversity too, because if you were one way or the other, it's hard to say like it's hard to say how that would go. But it's I think it's important to hunt both because it's not that I think it's a privilege for people to be able to buy private land and use it the way they want to, as well
Sure it is, man.
as the public that we have, and
Absolutely.
that's a really cool thing about America. But if it was one way, if it leaned really heavily in one way versus the other, that would be a problem.
Oh,
But
it would be.
yeah, but how we use it is important. So you're like that balance that you have of private versus public is super important to American culture, I think.
I think it is too, and I don't take anything away from, you know, and I look at things realistically too. Where I live here in Southeast Colorado, it's kind of funny. I live in a mule deer mecca.
Yeah.
Honestly, where I live is a mule deer mecca. I haven't hunted mule deer since 2012 in my
Oh
home
yeah.
state of Colorado because I've just become, thank you, Tony Peterson, infatuated with whitetails, and we have some awesome whitetails, and we have lots of
Yeah.
public here, but
Uh-huh.
I was fortunate enough to go to school with a couple that ended up getting married. They own a killer farm, and they give me exclusive rights to hunt that farm,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
great.
I'm gonna go hunt that farm every year until they tell me that I can't, and I get to do all the management stuff I want, whether it's putting in ponds or hinge cutting or travel corridors or whatever I wanna do. I'm gonna do that rather than going to say, "Well, yeah, I killed this buck on public."
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will say, "Well, yeah, you killed a 170-inch deer, but you killed it on private." Yep, I sure did.
Still
I
hard.
absolutely did. Guilty as charged. Um,
Yeah.
but the cool thing is I'll go to another state and I'll kill a 110-inch buck on public and be like, "Yeah, I killed this 110-inch buck on public." I don't
Yeah.
care. It doesn't matter to me. I
Yeah.
just wanna
Yeah.
hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an well, and that's like the, "Well, you can't eat the horns" argument, but it's just fun to just to do all those different things, and I people always ask like, "Oh, well, hunters in Iowa aren't gonna be as good if they hunt in Michigan or Pennsylvania because there's more pressure, there's less deer, this kind of thing." I don't think that's true. I
I
think
totally agree.
I hate when people say that because
It drives me
if you
nuts.
yeah, I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. If you have the exposure to the animal and you're learning their body language on an accelerated pace and how they act and what they want to do and their habits and stuff, you're going to be able to translate that to when it sucks a lot easier than somebody who doesn't. If I go out and I see a doe family group once every 5 sits and I get busted, if I got busted at an accelerated rate, how would I would figure out how to not get busted way quicker.
Sure you would.
If I had 5 doe family groups coming to me on every sit versus every 5 sits, I'd be like, "Oh, it probably in 2 sits, you'd figure out what you can and you can't do
Right,
to not," you know what I mean? So there's
right.
so much of that, but it's all this match about who's, better at it or what who cares?
That's exactly
Right?
right.
Um, but, do you have any good plans for this fall coming up?
Yeah, man, I got some cool stuff coming up, this fall, so no more crazy travel for me, at least for the short term, but, August 15th, is our archery pronghorn opener. I just have an over-the-counter archery pronghorn tag, so does my son Hunter.
Prince of the
Um,
Plains.
it's the plains, man, and then we will move, we'll go straight from that into, archery elk. So, this is his first year to really be able to take a lot of time that he needs because he was a very standout athlete in high school, a very dedicated athlete in high school. He wasn't willing to miss a film session, so he wants to do a father-son, do-it-yourself, public land, over-the-counter bow hunt in Colorado, and so we're gonna go do that, and chances are on that hunt, like, I'm going into that hunt knowing that the priority to kill a bull is for one dude to kill a bull, and it's not me. If
Yeah.
I get one, super sweet. If I don't, whatever. I killed lots of bulls. Um, but we're gonna do that, and then I've got a rifle hunt here in Colorado for an elk. I get to go to Montana this year, which is a state I've yet to hunt.
Oh,
I'm getting to go
nice.
there with Fiocchi. Fiocchi Ammunition's taking me on an elk mule deer combo. Oh, shoot. Man, I almost forgot the most craziest one. On September 1st, I'm going to Wyoming to hunt velvet bucks,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is the one I'm probably so I got to hunt with, Trophy Ridge Outfitters last year, in Wyoming, Ralph. They've been on so many shows of the past and things like that. We went out there on an antelope hunt. I met Ralph, and I'm like, "I love this dude." He's an
Yeah.
older guy, taxidermist, just good as gold. And so I asked him on the hunt, I was like, he's got like all these 140, 160, 170. And we're driving around. I'm looking at this river bottom country and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I couldn't help it. Like I asked him, I was like, hey, what do you charge for a whitetail hunt? And he told me, and I was like, that's it? Like I can do this.
Yeah.
So I went ahead right there and I just was like, here's my deposit. When can you take me? So I'm gonna go up there and hunt velvet bucks. Yeah, man, and then I got a smattering. I got a Kentucky whitetail hunt, coming up. I'm going on an Illinois deer hunt. I actually get to go to Levi Morgan's place,
Oh, cool.
and hunt with Levi, and some other writers. That's a hunt that was put together through Tacticam, oddly enough, and I really don't know much details. And anymore, man, I don't wanna know. Like, I just wanna know the dates, and then I just show up
Sure.
because what else can you do? You're going, so it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. It doesn't matter how the hunting's been. These are the dates that I have set to go, so why worry about it? I'm just gonna show up, have the best time that I can, and let the chips fall where they may. But yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff. Nothing that's just like outlandish right now, but you never
Well,
know.
how much more do you learn that way when you s like, if you oh, especially, like, stuff like the weather, like, oh, what are the conditions? Like, well,
So much.
if you learn how to hunt in a tornado and you can do it somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like,
Did it in Oklahoma, killed a buck.
yeah, that's
My
so
buddy
cool.
Scott Sandiford had to come rescue me. But what I've learned, it's made me a better hunter, but what
Yeah.
I've learned the most is I get the best experience like, when I'm done, like, I hope I die with my boots on, like, I'm gonna rust out, not wear out, or I mean, I'm not rust
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna wear out, not rust out,
Yeah.
and, like, I wanna be one of those guys that dies with my boots on and whatever, but when I get to the point where I can hardly do this anymore, and I sit down and I and Lord willing, that my brain's functioning well enough that I can recall all of these great hunts and these great memories, like, I wanna remember that just the goodness of all of it, and I found that when I go into a hunt not stressing about the weather, the conditions, what they're gonna be, who's gonna be there, I wonder if this guy's gonna get a better spot, I wonder if he has if I just go in and say, "I'm going to hunt, I get to go hunt, and I'm gonna give my very best while I'm there and hunt to the best that I know how,"
Uh-huh.
most of the time I get one opportunity, I truly
Yeah.
do, and win or lose, I come away going like, "Dang, that was fun."
Yeah.
And I didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
I was like, "I wanna know what weather is, I want the best spot, I want that," and I was super and not that I'm not competitive about it, I wanna win,
Yeah.
but I also want to enjoy those moments because you don't always get them back.
Right.
There's places in this world and things that I've done that I know deep in my heart, as bad as I don't want to admit it, I'll never do them again,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And but when I look back on those, I can look back on them and go, "Made the absolute most of it and had the most fun that I could. I didn't waste time being negative or being pissed off or being this or that because So that's what I think I've learned the most.
That's great, man. I love this. So, if somebody from the East is coming out west, what's like a top tip that you'd give them?
Be you. And I was gonna bring this up earlier. When I mean BU is like most Eastern guys are whitetail guys, and I don't mean
Yeah.
that with any disrespect. I
Sure.
am a whitetail guy. Like, if that's I'm a whitetail guy. I mean, I got a whole freaking wall that's just I wanna dedicate to one species. Everything else is kinda sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Um, but the what I mean by that is when I say BU, I started out a really good elk hunter who was a sucky whitetail hunter.
Yeah.
Whitetail hunters that I've taken that have come out here and hunted elk with me, I'm like, "What do you need me for? You're already good at this." They're
Yeah.
patient. These guys are the guys that have come out and they're like they really exercise a lot of patience. They'll find a trail intersection or they'll find a wallow and they're not afraid to go, "Posting up here for 14 hours tomorrow," and they'll do it. And I'll be out there freaking climbing hills and not getting a bugle and come back to camp or whatever, and they're like, "How was your day?" I'm like, "Oh, it's terrible. I bow hiked and no bulls are talking, and how'd you do?" "Oh, I killed one." It's like, "Well, you've been here for 1 day. What do you mean you
Yeah.
killed a bull? You killed a bull elk?" And that's happened so much. So, I know that's kinda like a bad tip, but what I'm saying is don't discount your successes as a whitetail hunter. They'll help you here.
Okay.
I mean, what I found out is, like, whitetail guys, they're super and I am too, now more so than I was. They're more patient. They pay closer attention to the wind. Um, they have this uncanny ability to slow things way down,
Uh-huh.
almost to the point where it drives me freaking crazy when I'm hunting elk with them because I still hunt elk way too aggressive. I'll be the first one to admit it. I
Uh-huh.
get aggressive with bulls, but that's how I like to hunt them.
Sure.
And I get to hunt them every year a lot of times, so I can afford to be that aggressive. But for you guys that are coming out and you're like, "Okay, man, I'm a whitetail hunter. I'm gonna get to do this one time, hopefully more times, but one time this time for sure." Don't come out and just listen to some guy from the West preach to you about how you have to do all these things to kill a bull. You can kill a lot of elk using whitetail techniques. You can
Mhm.
sit and wait elk out, man. You can be on a hot trail. You can be over a well-used wallow. There's so many ways that you can use your whitetail techniques to kill elk. And I didn't have those ways when I became a whitetail hunter. So I was the guy that was in his stand for 10 minutes and I was like, "Oh, there's a buck over there." And down. I'm like, "What was I going to do?"
Right.
But so that's like, honest to God, that's the best tip I can give. And The only other one that I'll say is what makes Western hunting hard is the physicality of it
Yeah.
in so many ways. And I don't just mean the physicality of getting yourself in shape. You do need to do this.
Uh-huh.
But if you allotted yourself 10 days to hunt, there's going to be multiple times during those 10 days where you want to go home. I
Yeah.
promise.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
you're just built completely different. Still to this day, I've hunted the West my whole life. I'll start missing my family. I'll start missing my kids. I'll start thinking about the 27 emails that I've missed and how all these other writers are going to get this work that was destined for me. And your mind is a powerful tool and it will start playing some really crap tricks on you. And honest
Yeah.
to God, what you have to do is you say there's 360 days in a year.
Uh-huh.
I said I get 10 days to do this. My wife's cool with it because my crap's right at home before I left.
Right.
I made sure everything was good at home before I left. My kids know this is 10 days that I'm dedicating of
Uh-huh.
360. I got 350 other days a year to work, to worry about everything. Be engaged for those 10 days. And when the bad thoughts
Uh-huh.
creep in, I call them bad thoughts. People call them negative thoughts, or I just always call them bad thoughts. When bad thoughts creep in, just be
Yeah.
like, no, not today. I can't do this. It's only 10 days. It's
Yeah.
10 daas. And I swear to you, when you throw in the towel on day 4, you'll be freaking driving home and you'll be like, "I do. I just messed that whole thing up." And you just yeah, man, so just win the mind game, and be you out there. Don't try
Yeah.
to be don't try to be me. Don't try to be Brian Barney. Don't try to be Cameron Haynes. Don't try to be Nate Simmons. I mean, just you are a good hunter. Like, believing in yourself is enough. Just be
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I that's so important too because the things that you're doing, everything that even if it's hunting bunnies, you're learning something about how to hunt, and I think those things do translate. I've only gotten to hunt in Colorado once, and I think that everything I had learned to that point helped me while I was there as far as the hunting goes. But the physicality part is definitely like that's if you're gonna prepare for anything, the mental part and the physicality part is hard.
It is.
Um, so but you so speaking of that, you have an ultra coming up, right?
Yeah, man. Gosh dang. Somebody paid
Yeah.
attention. No, I'm um, so yeah, this is my first ultra back, since I had, microdiscectomy, which is a back surgery at L4, L5, S1.
Mhm.
Ran the Silver Heels 100 miler in 22 or
That's different
23.
than silver sneakers, right?
Right, it's different than Silver Sneakers. So it's a 100-mile mountain foot race, ultra. Ran it, felt great, got 4th, came home, was just doing some recovery stuff, man, and just got the worst pain that I could explain to
Oh,
you
no.
in my lower back. And I fought it, like, for a while, and then I went and saw somebody, and they did an MRI, and the guy's like, "Yeah, we need to do surgery on your back." So, got the back surgery, um, scared me to death because I've had so many friends be like, "Dude, whatever you do, don't you do it. Don't you get back surgery."
Yeah.
Best move I ever made. Um, and so I've done everything. I'm usually the guy that's like, "Let's see how quickly I can ruin this. Let's see
Right.
how quickly I can feel better and screw this up again." I swear to you, I'm that guy. Um, this I wasn't because I wanted to run again, and I wanna continue hunting for as long as I can, so I did everything that Doctor Barker told me to do, like, to the letter,
Yeah.
to my recovery,
Yeah.
and so now I had a 72-mile week last week running, I got over 11,000 feet of vertical climbing in, this week's starting off strong, the back feels great, and so I'm running the Pikes Peak, 50K, which is only a 30.1 mile ultra, so it's, like, the lowest grade ultra, but
Yeah.
for me, it's not about like, I've run 400-mile ultras. Like,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to what I don't care what people, "Oh, well, he used to do hundreds and now he's only doing" sweet. I'm doing this, I'm just doing this one for me. I mean,
Yeah.
in all honesty, and I haven't talked about that about me. I've tried not to talk about me a lot in this podcast, but I actually ordered I saw these cool running shorts. They were the Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby. They got the cougar on one side and it says me on the other. And,
Nice.
like, I'm wearing it for this run, but it's more of a humorous joke because 1, I love Talladega Nights, and
Yeah.
2, when I decided to do this, when I decided to run an ultra again, it wasn't to appease the masses on Instagram. It
Yeah.
wasn't so somebody would take notice and be like, "Oh, he's so tough, man. He had back surgery and he's conquering." I did it because I love to run,
Yeah.
and I wanted to see if I did everything right, if I could go out and run another ultra. I'm not
Uh-huh.
running to win it. I'm not running to place in the top 20. I'm running to toe the line and then cross that line, and whatever my time is, I could care less. I'm just doing it to because I love to run, and I wanna
Yeah.
run another ultra, and from there, I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'll never put a label on, like my back surgeon flat told me never to run 100 miles again in one
Yeah.
stretch. He's like, "Don't ever do it again." He's like, "I will see you back in here, and this
Yeah.
time I'll fuse you." I do have to learn things the hard way, so I'm not I'm not saying I'm never gonna run another 100 miles or maybe
Yeah.
2, but
Yeah.
I doubt it. So I love to hunt more, but, yeah, so I got an ultra coming up. That's the 26th of July. Um,
It's gonna be hot.
it's gonna be hot, but it's a mountain run.
Yeah.
I've never done a flatland 100 miler or any ultra. I part of the joy of that run is the scenery and just being up in the hills, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. So what you really should do is plan like a PA or Jersey hunt because it's as flat as you get. You probably can run whitetails down here.
Well, I doubt that, but,
Your blood volume is ridiculous, you know?
yes, 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 but, oh my gracious, I would
What
love to,
elevation
man. I've honestly never hunted whitetails. I've never hunted whitetails in what I would consider, like, the East.
Okay.
I've hunted them in Florida. Um, I've hunted them all through the Midwest. I've hunted them all through the West, but, like, I've hunted Illinois, I've hunted Missouri, I've hunted Kansas, Nebraska, but I've never gotten, like, New York, Vermont, PA,
Yeah.
Connecticut, and dude, that part of the country I went on a turkey hunt there last year. I went to Vermont and New York,
Uh-huh.
and my wife was like, "Why? Why are you going to hunt turkey of all things in Vermont, New York?" I said, "'Cause I can hunt Vermont and New York." Because
Yeah.
again, it's just all about the experience. Went up, met some great people, had the best time ever, killed some birds, and while I was there, I was like when I was in New York, I was like, "Y'all got a lot of deer. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
might not have a lot of big deer where I was at, but y'all have a lot of deer," you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I would yeah, man. I wanna extend my whitetail stuff, um, into the East because, 1, I want that I just want the experience.
Yeah.
And it'd be a
I think
great learning experience for me.
it is different than I've hunted whitetails in Ohio a couple times, but I've not really been out of state. I've actually not really been out of state a whole lot, to be completely honest. I
Yeah,
did some Colorado, New York, or Ohio. Um, I don't. I might have done small game somewhere else, but really not a whole lot of diversity as far as out of state goes. But PA is different than well, not just PA. East is different than hunting whitetails in the Midwest. And although I
that's
said
what I've
like,
heard.
yeah, like I said, I think people do the like, oh well, if somebody from Iowa comes to Pennsylvania, they won't be as good. I don't believe that. But the hunting is different and the deer act different to in some aspects. And there is some more battle with pressure or
Sure.
learning how if you go to a state that the deer density is high everywhere, you're going to have to learn how to find a deer density because they're in pockets here. I mean, there's ridges in PA that they'll go from this ridge. We've had, especially running trail cameras, we've had deer on camera on a ridge and then 2 miles far further away, an hour and a half apart, it's on this other ridge. Well, how did it get there in that amount of time? There's nothing in the middle.
Wouldn't you like to know, though? Like, don't like, that's where my stupid, warped mind goes. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Did it run there? Like,
"Yeah, did it teleport?" Like, Is it
Yeah,
an alien?
yeah.
It's just
So,
crazy.
but it's cool to see because you get into these areas where, I have not hunted a lot in the western corner of Pennsylvania because that's where
Mhm.
I mean, Pennsylvania is great because there is a lot of public here. There's like 4 million acres of public land in PA. And for the size of the state that it is, that's a lot. When you go into that corner, there's a lot of places that that almost are void of deer. Like you'll see a couple of tracks and a pile of crap,
Yep.
and guys are so fast to say there's no deer here. And I hunted an area that was like that this year, where it was like, oh, is this one going to be one of those things where we're chasing tracks in the snow for a couple miles before we see a deer? But we got into a pocket where it was just loaded. Like there were deer everywhere. And there weren't a lot of people, you know. So not a lot of people know about that, but that's kind of something that you have to learn. Like there's no like these the density is really pocketed. But it's kind of cool, you're hunting in an area where PA has a little population of elk and they're big, like big, big, big elk.
I've seen, I'm a fan.
Yeah. So it's kind of
I
cool to
know
be
what
in
you
that.
have there.
Yeah, it's cool to be in those areas because it's not a Colorado mountain, it's a Pennsylvania mountain and it's different than I've experienced that. And it's
Right.
cool to just see it all. It's cool to
It
see it
is,
all.
man, and that's why, like, it shouldn't be discounted either, like,
Yeah.
I get so sick of guys from the West being like, "Well, those aren't our mountains, those aren't our mountain elk." It's like, the bulls
No,
I kill out here on the plains ain't mountain elk either, and guess what?
yeah,
They eat just as good, and they're harder. I
yeah,
don't care. I'll stack up a plains bull because of what you're saying,
yeah.
pocket density.
Mhm.
They're so few and far between, and these bulls that get out here on the plains, and I'm not just talking about the open plains, I'm talking about fringe areas too, on the fringe of really good elk ground, but these animals are living on the fringe. Bro, they're a bull will just start walking. I've
Yeah.
seen what with his nose in the air, God built them to travel. They are great travelers, and
Mhm.
20, 30 miles in a day is like you and me flipping
Nothing.
on a light switch, man, and and
Right.
and to it's just crazy. But people discount, that's where that comes into it. I mean, it's like if somebody said, "Hey, Jace, here's a Pennsylvania bull tag," I'd be like,
Mhm.
"Boom, bye, Colorado. I'm going to
Yeah.
kill one of yours."
Yeah. Yeah. And they're big they're big
They're so
animals.
big, so
The
cool.
I think the average age is over 5 years.
Well,
So they're
yeah, I don't know your division. Like ours is the Division of Wildlife. I don't even know what you guys call yours, but like I don't want to assume that I know anything about them, but it appears that the management has been solid.
yeah, oh yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
you've grown big bulls.
Yeah, real big. I mean, they don't give out a lot of tags. It's like
No, no, no.
it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like somewhere between 150 and 100 it's been like 165 and most of them are cow tags.
Sure.
And they're making some changes to that, kind of going with the trend. They made it a little bit harder for non-residents, but it's still pretty friendly. They
Yep.
get like 10 or 16% of the tags now, and you have to hold a license to be able to buy points. Just kind of like you do in Colorado. Like I if
Yes,
I
yes, yes, yes.
I have to buy like a fishing license to buy an elk point or whatever.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that, which is fine because it's still like not a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's unique. So everything I think that you learn from hunting in a different area is something that I guarantee you, if somebody from Kansas comes to Pennsylvania to hunt whitetails, they're going to learn something in Pennsylvania that they're going to use in Kansas one day.
100%.
And
And
I
that's what
think
makes it all cool.
there's no discounting any type of hunting that you're going to do to make you a better hunter.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. But I love getting this to have this conversation with you, dude. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been so fun, man. I've done a lot of podcasts and like this one's you've got a great thing going here. I mean, it was
Thanks,
just a
buddy.
lot of fun. The flow was easy, and like we talked about, like it's the first time we've really met in person, and we're not even like face to face, I guess I'd say. And
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a blast. So I do
Yeah.
really appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Do you think I don't do this for every podcast? Do you think it's okay if we pray together before we end?
Bro, 100%. Always. Don't
Let,
even ask. Just start praying.
let's do it. I'm gonna take
Yeah,
off the
man.
hat. Dear God, I just thank you for my friend and you, Jace. I thank you for the conversation that we've got to have. I ask that you give it to the person that needs it, even if it's only one. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Thank you for giving us hunting and fishing. Thank you for giving us that connection and help us to connect people to you because of it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's all I have for today, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. I really appreciate it. You need to check out Jace on Instagram at JACE_BAUSERMAN. You need to follow this guy because he is just such a wealth of knowledge. I think you're really going to enjoy what he has to say. He's also on YouTube. He's on all kinds of his writings everywhere. So you need to read some of it because man, he's such a wealth of knowledge. I really enjoy talking to this guy. Go ahead and leave the show a review and a rating. Give it a follow. Share it around. I really appreciate that. If you don't, that's fine. Just keep coming back for more. I can't say thank you enough. This is In Camp Podcast.